Watch these 7 series to be an anime elitist. If you've been in the anime internet communities for a while, you must have had your fair share of run-ins with anime elitists. Some of them are cool guys with unusual preferences, while some are just straight up pretentious. Of course, as you may expect, an anime elitist is someone who thinks that they have a superior or more refined taste in anime because they consumed underrated and unusual shows. It's really nothing major, and we're definitely not going to use this video to get into whether you should try and act like an anime elitist as well, but if you want to understand why the anime elitists look down on mainstream anime series, you must start by watching the anime that the elitists watch. And that's going to be the focus of this video. We're going to be talking about the unusual and uncanny shows that give one the feeling of being elite. There are a lot of these, but for the sake of simplicity and convenience, we're going to only look at 7 of them. Do let me know if you want a follow-up video though. Well then, shall we begin? Starting from number 7, the first anime that we're going to be talking about is an avant-garde called Devilman Crybaby. But before we start talking about it, let's first go into the meaning of avant-garde genre. Just what kind of stories classify as such? It basically refers to the shows that are original in their approach, maybe even experimental, and in some cases, avant-garde pieces of media laugh in the face of conventional storytelling. Does this mean that every dark or edgy anime classifies as avant-garde? No, of course not. Although avant-garde works best with horror. This is how it goes in Devilman Crybaby and some of the other animes we're going to be talking about in this video. But to be honest, any kind of story be avant-garde as long as it conveys its narrative in a truly non-traditional manner. Alright, so where does Devilman Crybaby fit in all of this? It has a relatively ordinary start. There is a rather weak boy named Akira. One day, his old friend named Ryo meets him after a long time and asks him for his help in uncovering and defeating the devils. Following this, Ryo takes Akira to a party where every degenerate act is taking place. Suddenly, devils pull up and massacre takes place. Akira was also going to get taken over by a devil, but something strange happens. He manages to retain control of his consciousness, which in turn makes him a Devilman. In totality, there are 10 episodes, and you bet a lot happens in these 10 episodes. And after you're done, there is an exceedingly dark and sinister climax waiting to mess with you. That's right, these avant-garde animes are all about messing with you. Now after Devilman Crybaby, we have the psychological drama called Technolize. It's only 22 episodes long, but let me tell you, it is impossible for you to predict or even truly comprehend what happens in those 22 episodes unless you let all of your brain cells run wild. This is the level of mental gymnastics we're talking about. The story itself takes place in a lawless cyberpunk city. Morality is gray, sometimes non-existent. The pacing can be astonishingly slow, but if you're patient, you're going to have one hell of a surreal experience. Technolize is indeed the kind of anime that you can't just recommend to everybody. It makes you hate the show, but you can't deny the brilliance. And I guess you can say that the same about the animes we have up next, Serial Experiments Line.
どこにいたって人はつながっているのよ。
In short, Serial Experiments Line is about uniting both the digital world and the real world. Mind you, this anime came out in the late 90s and it has still not lost its touch. Our protagonist is a girl who becomes that interlink between the wired world and the physical world, but it ends up leading to an amalgamation of realities, identities, and even consciousness. It's about the meaning of death and the significance of reality. Okay, enough with the dark and psychological paranoia, let's talk about the wholesome, comical tales called Tokyo Godfathers. It is an anime film that tells us a story of 3 homeless folks who find an abandoned baby on the cold night of Christmas Eve. They name the baby Kyoko and set out to find the baby's biological mother. It's by the critically acclaimed director Satoshi Kon, and it is about as heartwarming as you can expect it to be. But while the next anime on our list is also by Satoshi Kon, there is nothing heartwarming about it. We're talking about the Avantgarde psychological film from the late 90s called Perfect Blue. It goes into the dark side of the idol industry. No, let me rephrase that. It shows us the dark side of the entertainment industry through the story of our protagonist named Mima. She was the lead singer of a pop idol group and then decided to become an actress. This decision led to many photo shoots and direct video series, many of which can be considered inappropriate, and not to mention, it also turns out that she has a stalker who knows everything about her. Suffice to say, it's way darker than it sounds. Do not watch it on a bad day. Seriously. And if you do want an elitist anime that you can watch on a bad day, go with Kinonotabi, The Beautiful World. The crux of this anime can be summarized to a quote that was said by the protagonist. It says that the world is not beautiful and therefore it is. Our protagonist named Kino is a youngster who traveled around the world and explores it. We don't know much about Kino's background, all we know is that Kino's motorcycle is like an actual person. The entire series is about exploring the unknown, and the way it goes about it is fascinating. Yes, dark things happen, but Kinonotabi has a peaceful air to it.
全軍敵正面を攻撃せよ
Moving on, we have the last anime on this list, a space opera called Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I'm sure even if you haven't watched it yet, you must have seen it at least once on a popular anime database. As many have said in the past, it is like Star Wars, but better. You see, the Legend of the Legendary Heroes is like a complete package. There are wars, there is romance, there are politics and whatnot. If you have watched Code Geass, rejoice, because Legend of the Legendary Heroes does everything Code Geass tried to do, but it does it better. An intergalactic war between masterminds is the premise, but it is only after you understand the nuance of these characters and why they are fighting that the story finally begins to come together and make sense. Still, there are 110 episodes, which could be a big commitment for many, so suit yourself. All I hope is that you found at least one anime from this video that you are definitely going to watch. Tell us about it in the comment sections down below. As always, a like and subscribe will be most welcome, and if you're feeling particularly giddy about what we talked about in this video, that super thanks button is always ready to be pressed by you at any moment now. Yep, any and all support is genuinely appreciated. And with that said, I'll see you guys on my next video.